Hey Aries, this is Rebecca from Being Human Tarot, and I'm here with your August 2018 forecast. This month I'm switching it up and going to do something a little bit different than I did last month. So I'm just doing a 3-card spread this month, with the first card indicating what you should focus on this month, the second card indicating what you should set aside for the month, and the third card indicating just an additional consideration for the month. Also, I'm doing an additional single card draw from Krans' Animal Spirit deck. If you're familiar with her Wild Unknown Tarot deck is very popular. So this is her Oracle deck, also animal focused, and she has some really great line drawings. So yes, that's in the works for you for this reading. I will start you off with your first card, which is what you should be focusing on this month. And for that, you drew the Three of Pentacles. So in the Three of Pentacles, we have, it's an earth sign, right? So it's very grounded, kind of energy going on. And in this particular deck, which is, it's the Eight of Coins Tattoo Tarot, by the way, in case you're interested. Some great illustrations. We actually have 3 prairie dogs, which most of the deck doesn't have animals, so this is kind of a fun one, which if you think about prairie dogs, they're very hardworking and they're very working in a team. They're very, they're sort of, if you've ever seen them in the wild, or if you've ever just been to a zoo that had them, they're kind of popping up from their little underground homes and checking each other out and communicating with each other and like chattering a bunch. And it's fitting for the Three of Wands. I can understand why the artist selected prairie dogs, because the Three of Pentacles, not the Three of Wands, because the Three of Pentacles is all about teamwork, getting things done in groups. In particular, it can stand for kind of like a specific trade, a craft, where you're physically creating a thing. But in a more, I would say, modern interpretation, because all of us have such different jobs, it's more indicating that this month you're going to need to really work with the other people at your job on a project and come together. And maybe it's not something you do a lot. Maybe you have the kind of job that's much more solo. Maybe you're a writer, for example, and of course, like, you know, all jobs eventually have some intersection with like your boss or other people on the team, but this month is really calling for you to step up and do your best in a team environment, even if maybe we don't have a team that we get along with that well. Maybe we don't work with people who appreciate us in the way that they should. So that could be more of a struggle for you if that's the case. But you can't get things done on your own. You have to do them with other people this month, in particular related to a job. But it could be, you know, related to something else. It could be family. If there's been some kind of a disagreement in your family, everyone could kind of need to get together and actually talk about it, rather than just sort of look away, push it out of the way because it's uncomfortable. It's something that needs addressing, and you all have to get on the same page. It's easy for families, I think, to not address things. Harder at work. For what you need to set aside this month, you drew the Queen of Swords. And if you can hear some outside music, there's actually a block party in my neighborhood today, so I think it's kind of quiet enough. I have my window shut, so I don't think that, and I'm trying to speak louder than usual, so hopefully you can still hear me okay, but just wanted to mention that. Kind of gives it a little bit of a background vibe, though. So with Queen of Swords as a set aside, because the Queen of Swords is all about being the very direct, blunt queen, kind of like not putting up with bullshit. She's not always, she's fair. She's not always the best smoother outer, if that makes sense. So, poor way of describing it. She's not the Queen of Cups, if you will, which, if you don't follow tarot, then it's not that she's cold. That could be sort of a harsh interpretation of her, but of the queens, she's not exactly the one who's thought of to be as incredibly nurturing, whereas I would say the other three queens have much more of that kind of aspect, whereas the Queen of Swords is sort of blunt. She's about getting things done and being honest and being open and kind of just like, so her leadership style can be rather brusque. I think I maybe already said brusque, but it's often, we need that. We need that a lot of the time. However, this month with the Queen of Swords in your set aside for now, it's also important to remember that, right? Because it's to not never be like the Queen of Swords. It's to, for this month, know that you can kind of put this, you can shelf this for now, which means that you should take a different approach to leadership this month. So whatever it is that you have going on at work or at home, where you're having to kind of negotiate and work with other people to get things done for your life, you don't want to use a Queen of Swords approach where perhaps you're just very brutally, honestly telling people, this is how it is, this is my perspective, this is how I think we should move forward, any questions. Maybe instead it makes more sense this month to take a little bit more of a Queen of Cups approach, where you're sort of considering other people's feelings a little bit more. When you work with them, or, you know, talk with them if it's your family and you're working something out at home, rather than just sort of give your piercing truth, maybe it's a better month to listen and try to understand where people are coming from, and then proceed as sort of lovingly as possible with that in mind, and keeping people's feelings in mind. Because the Queen of Swords is great, and she can be so necessary to different situations, but it seems like for whatever reason, the particular situation you have this month calls for something a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more loving, a little bit more intuitive to other people's feelings. As an additional consideration for the month, you drew the Eight of Wands. Which is about things happening quickly. It's, you know, wands, so it's got that fire energy. Aries, of course, you're a fire sign. And so it's about things happening quickly, things getting done quickly, and it could very much be at work or at home in the situation that's your focus for the month. Maybe whatever it is that you're having to do, maybe it's a lot of deadlines, maybe it's crazy deadlines. Maybe it's just, you know, if it's a home situation, maybe there's changes at home. If you have kids, like maybe your kids are going through some things at school and you have to deal with it, and it's just like developmental things that you have not had to handle before, and it feels like a lot, and it's happening very fast. So I would say to be mindful that this month could feel rushed. This month could feel intense. It's wands, So I don't think that it's going to be particularly a bad feeling. It's just a lot. So keep that in mind. You know, we can only all do, you know, something as fast as possible. If it's at work, you know, we can only like physically get something done within certain parameters. So we can just do our best. We can do our best to kind of remember what's helpful when working with people and like what might not be, particularly if it's such an intense environment this month. Well, it might seem more natural to just be kind of like blunt and be like, we need to do this and we need to do this and we need to do this and like go, because all of this is happening so fast. People actually might, the people you're working with might actually be pretty frazzled by the Eight of Wands. And they may need just like a gentler approach from you as a leader or as a team member or whatever function that you're working with people in. So, for your animal spirit card, you drew the horse. And it's a beautiful drawing. I'm gonna bring it back into focus, hopefully again, just for another second, because I think it's so beautiful. And I mean, the horse is it's probably not far off from what you might like guess a horse would be in an oracle deck. It's hardworking, it's steady, it's staying the course. So it really is, and I believe in her deck that this symbol means, I think it's kind of an earth sign. So again, with that Three of Pentacles focus of the month, you're going to be doing a lot of hard work. You're going to have the help that you need, though, like with internally. I kind of like see the crescent moon on this horse's face as sort of almost like a third eye of just kind of understanding what needs to get done, being able to do that. So never fear. It is going to be an intense month, it seems like, in terms of, you know, the things happening quickly, needing to kind of tone down what your natural way of dealing with this kind of more hectic situation is. But the horse is really showing that you're a hard worker, you've got this, and you're gonna get through, and it's gonna be fine. So that's your August reading. If you liked the video, I encourage you to give it a thumbs up. And I would also love it if you wanted to subscribe to the channel. If you hit the bell icon next to subscribe, then you'll get automatically notified as soon as I upload this suite of videos for all of the signs each month, which I'll do before the first of the month, so that you get a little bit of time, you know, before the month starts to actually like look down and see what's coming up. That's it for this month. I will pause this and pan down so you can see the full spread like laid out. I mean, it's only 3 cards in the oracle card, but still I think sometimes it's helpful to just see it visually. So I'll do that now. See you next month. So here you can see the full spread, your Three of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Eight of Wands, and your horse card. Thanks for tuning in.